Hey guys, thank you for tuning into the show. Have an interesting one for you for this episode. So, if you didn't know, when the Mavericks played the Celtics, was it earlier this past week? After the game, I believe Luka Doncic kind of said that Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum are the best duo in the NBA. Now, we know that the NBA has kind of gotten away from the three megastar super teams of just not too long ago and had moved back towards the duo with the others as Shaq calls them. Really paying attention to who you put around your duo to become a winning team. So when Lucas said that, it got me thinking, was he right? And where do I put the other duos in the NBA? So last time I did the was it the FIFA bracket and shared the screen and all that. So I went to Tier Maker, which if you haven't used it, pretty good. Let me show you real quick. So I found this tier list over there where they have NBA duos. I'm going to put them in the categories that I kind of created. I will say, Cavs fans, they don't have Cleveland's duo on here for some reason. I think the little message said that I guess when this tier list was created, I don't think the Mitchell deal happened or whatever, but I'll incorporate them. I'll kind of just say where I'll place them as I go through this. But I know most tier lists usually go like S, A, B, C, D. I decided to do something a little different. So my categories are breakup, meaning the duos kind of ran its course. The team probably needs to change and probably needs to split them up. Potentials there is usually for a duo that's probably pretty young, uh, probably newly created, and they show that if they stick together and the team, I guess, puts pieces around them, the right pieces around them, the team could be really great. Prove It is probably a duo that's been together for a little bit, maybe hasn't performed as well recently, so they might be on their last legs together as a duo. Really good duo is a duo that been together, has had some success, maybe doesn't have a ring or necessary like championship. Um, maybe hasn't had as much success as maybe thought of, but they're still a really good duo because they still are productive and all that. It kind of make more sense when I put duos into that category. Perfection, I just think those are the duos where they're really good. They are improving together, and the future looks really bright in terms of them having maybe a sustained dominant run of a few years. Once again, probably make more sense as I place the teams in these tiers. You'll be like, oh, I get what you're thinking. So, like I said, so go through this. My opinion. Obviously, if you guys disagree, I want to hear from you in the comments, and I will respond to you, give you what I was thinking. But let's have some fun with this. So, for me, we're gonna start off with Memphis. So they have John Morant, Jaren Jackson. I'm gonna put them potentials there. Mainly for Jaren Jackson. He's been hurt all this season. He's a talented guy, and I do want to see once he comes back with this Memphis team after the year they had last year, what he could do for that team, and could he be the piece once he comes back that helps the Grizzlies maybe make a finals appearance this year, or at least the Western Conference Finals again. Um, but yeah, once he's back and healthy, this is a pairing that could very easily go really good, or maybe improve it because no, I'd say probably really good because they've had a decent start as a duo so far, and they're not perfection yet, of course, but they definitely could move up here. All right, Clay and Steph. I feel like past years probably would have been perfection. I'm gonna put them at really good, and I think their step back is because Clay still just doesn't look right now, and the Warriors had their rough start to this season, but I do think that they are good enough to turn it around. Um, I, I'm, the tough thing with the Warriors is like how much should we put into their start of this season because they are an older group now, but they are coming off a championship year, so they're tough. But I'm gonna put them really good. But like I said, that's only because Clay hasn't been up to Clay's standards from previous years, where Steph is still playing Steph level basketball. And I do think they'll be fine in terms of standings and all that. And once you get to the playoffs, they're going to be a team that's going to be tough to beat. But for right now, I'm basing this off of this year while incorporating some history with these duos. But I'm gonna still say they're really good. Uh, Durant and Kyrie in Brooklyn. This one's an interesting one because I could very easily put them here or here. I'm gonna say prove it. I know this makes it look like potentials there is like ranked lower than prove it. When I think, you know what, let's do this. Yeah. So I was just to say prove it with them because I think they're on a very they're on the cusp of being breakup to me because when the two of them were formed, Brooklyn had images of championship after championship. Hasn't happened yet, and it almost and you can almost write this season off as probably not happening this year either. I just think the top of the East is too good right now. I think there's still too many questions with this Nets team in terms of leadership, direction, chemistry, construction, all that for me to really think that there's future potential with them because I'm pretty sure Kyrie might not even be there next year. They're not really good because they've kind of fallen short of expectations and they're definitely not perfection. But I do think if they can put it all together, they could create some magic this year. I just don't see it. So for me, prove it with them. Like I said, on the cusp of breakup. Murray and Trey Young in Atlanta. Uh, I'll go there with them. Um, I like that they went and got DeJounte Murray. I said before, didn't like the fact that they, moved Herder out because I thought he would have been a really good third piece to go with these two. Trey Young's shooting numbers this season are a little troubling. He's shooting like 30% from three, and that's kind of his calling card, at least supposed to be. And if he's not shooting the three well, it kind of messes with their floor spacing, which could then have some effect on Murray. But I'm gonna still say potential's there because if I don't know if I should expect this to be a season long issue with Trey Young. I mean, he is a good shooter. Sometimes his shot selection is kind of poor, but I'm not gonna take what he's done so far in his career and then use this little dip of 20 games and completely write off what he's done before. But if that doesn't, if those numbers don't come up over this year, then this Atlanta duo, even though it's new, could definitely fall into a prove it to see how the fit actually works together. So I would say potential's there for them right now. I think they're the sixth seed in the East right now. I think that's kind of where they should be in the East. I don't think I don't think they're bad enough to be a play-in team. I think there's enough talent there for them to be above that line. But with teams like Brooklyn below them, even like a Washington or something, They could end up as a play-in team, but I'm sticking with potential right now. All right, Booker and Chris Paul. Hmm. This one might be a little because I could put improve it because I am one of those who thinks their finals loss um, to the Bucks is probably their one shot at a title as a duo. Chris Paul's getting up there in age. I think there's still some type of narrative against Booker as a playoff performer, or even Chris Paul as a playoff performer and having to prove that they're those guys who can get Phoenix over the hump and actually get a title down there. Um, I mean, the years that they have with Chris Paul is going to be limited in terms of the future because, like I said, getting up there in age. You know what? I'm gonna put them here. I feel like putting improve it might be a little bit disrespectful. But I'm gonna say if they flame out again early in the playoffs, they will fall here and could very easily go here. So I'll put them really good for now because they do have that finals run together. They've made it there, so I got to give them credit for that. All right, Embiid and Harden. This is another one that's kind of tricky because I could say prove it because of Harden's hamstring, injuries that keep coming up. You could say potential's there because he came into the season in better shape. I would say prove it. I'll tell you why. Embiid, since he's been a Philly, they haven't made the finals yet, even though he's been a pretty dominant big man. Now, in terms of his number two, there's always been questions. Whether it was Ben Simmons, now James Harden. Um, I guess you want to say Tobias Harris. I don't know, but um, I would say prove only because Embiid, as the leader of Philly, they haven't gotten to the promised land yet. And then Harden, from his past few years, where fitness has always been an issue with him, and it continues to be one because it always seems like each year there's an injury behind him. I think we're gonna have to see the two of them, for a long stretch this season. So I need to see Embiid stay healthy, Harden stay healthy, and then that has to turn into something in the playoffs this season. I think Philly needs a deep run. Otherwise, there could be sweeping changes there. Uh, you know, Doc Rivers could be out of a job. Maybe the Embiid Harden experiment might have to change. Maybe it's more of a Tobias Harris and other pieces around them issue. But I think if they don't make a run, there could be some pretty serious changes in Philly, to be honest with you. So put them in the prove it category. All right, LeBron and AD. I'm gonna put them there because looking at this season, LeBron is missing games right now. AD has missed games already, and we know AD's injury history. So we're going to have to see how many games can these two actually play together this season. Plus, AD's played really well when LeBron's been off the court. When LeBron's on the court, AD's numbers come down kind of significantly. And with the construction of that team, I just don't know if they can be successful this year into the playoffs if AD isn't playing at that level he played at for like that 5 to 7 game stretch when LeBron wasn't on the court and he was dropping 30 plus with like 15 plus rebounds and all that. Now it'd be ridiculous of me to think that AD could carry that out for a season because I mean, if he were to do that, probably would be one of the greatest seasons we've seen in recent time. So Can they find a happy medium where LeBron's on the court doing his thing, but the offense kind of runs through AD and they allow him to be the guy that he's shown he can be in stretches on a more consistent basis. So because of that, prove it. Butler and Adebayo. Gonna put them really good. Um, because I mean, as much as you kind of want to overlook these two, the Heat seemingly just seem to find ways to be there in the end. At least over this recent run, they started off kind of slow this year, but I have full faith that Butler, Spoelstra, Adebayo, those guys down there will figure it out. I do have some questions about some of the pieces that are around them, whether it's Duncan Robinson or Kyle Lowry, but I think with these two, I think I just said they'll find a way to, you know, be a playoff team. They'll be a headache to play against because of, the system that they run, the defensive pressure that they, seem to turn on when they have to. And Butler, as frustrating as it can be to watch him play when whether it's um, him kind of disappearing for like 2 3 quarters and then coming on strong in the fourth, or one of those games where he just has it going and he drops like 35, 40 on you and you kind of don't even know where it's coming from. But uh, I just think the two of them have been too good that once again, kind of like the Warriors, I don't want to, panic too much over their slow start this season. But I think they're still a really good duo. Giannis and Middleton. I'm gonna go perfection. Now there are questions with Middleton in terms of health because he's out right now. But when he comes back, I just feel like these two complement each other really well. Where Giannis is a guy who needs the paint open, and he has worked on his jump shot. Give him a lot of credit for that. But his biggest skill is still driving to the hoop, finishing at the rim. But when defenses collapse on him, Middleton is a great guy to kick it out to because he can knock down the three, he can create off the dribble, score in the mid range, and even at times if the Bucks offense is really struggling, they'll post up Middleton and he can do work on the block. Defensively, both guys. Well, I mean, Giannis is one of the better defenders in the league, and Middleton's a pretty good defender as well. They do have that title together. They're constantly title contenders as a duo. So I'm gonna put them in perfection because I think they're probably the class of the duo ranking. To be honest, I'm gonna come back to the Celtics one because as a Celtics fan, I just want to keep them for last. So Fox and Sabonis. It's an interesting pairing on an interesting team in Sacramento that seems like they might be poised to have a decent season this year. So I'm gonna go potentials there. I mean, the picture isn't that great because Fox is barely in it, but that is De'Aaron Fox. I'm a big De'Aaron Fox guy, have always been. Um, kind of wonder why it just hasn't worked in Sacramento. You know, people looked at that trade of Halliburton for Sabonis among some other pieces, but we're kind of wondering why they did it because Halliburton was a good young player. Seemed to fit with Fox, although it kind of seemed like they brought in Halliburton to probably pave the way for Fox leaving. And now it looks like that's not happening anymore. So I'm gonna go potentials there because Sabonis really good around the rim. He's like a walking 20 and 15 guy. Fox, I mean, those two are part of a Kings team this season. That's I think number 2 in offense. Got to give him some credit for that. I did see them play the Celtics the other day. Didn't go well for them, but I mean, once again, that's the Celtics kind of doing that to most teams right now. But I think Sacramento could have something with these two. So I'm gonna put them potentials there. Really good. That's an easy one for me. Jokic back to back MVP seasons. Murray, you know, coming off of a year where he was hurt, but the two of them together are dangerous. You know, Murray's a guy who can go off for 40, 45 in a game. We saw that in the bubble. Jokic is a guy who just is a do it all type of big man. He can drop 30 if he has to. He can grab 15 rebounds. He can dish out 15 assists. He's not the most athletic guy. He just finds what he's crafty. We'll just put it that way. He's a crafty big man with the ball in his hands. If Murray works perfectly because they can run pick and pop. Jokic can hit the three if your defense is late. Getting to Murray off the pick, Murray can get to the hoop. He can pull up in the mid range. He can knock down the three. So they are a really good duo. Zion and Brandon Ingram. Potential's there. This is mainly tied to Zion's health. But Brandon Ingram, since he left the Lakers, he's probably playing his best basketball since he's gotten to New Orleans. Willie Green has that team playing really well. Pelicans are a team to watch out for if, big if, Zion can play a lot of games this season. Can he play 70 games? Can he play 65? I think that's probably the cutoff. If they can get at least 65 games out of him, I think the Pelicans will be fine. If it's any less than that or drastically less than that, then the Pelicans are be in trouble again. But I think these two could definitely start a stretch of winning ways in New Orleans that they haven't seen in some time. So I would say the potential's there for those two. I think DeRozan and Levine. I think it's breakup for them. Um, DeRozan's what 33, coming off of a crazy good year last year. But it's just something about Levine seems off. I don't know what it is. Something about this Bulls team seems off. You know, Lonzo Ball been hurt. I understand that. I get that. But that's kind of what he's been throughout his career right now. And him just being out shouldn't be enough to have the Bulls being a below 500 team this year. Uh, Vucevic, talented big man, but he at times can be too perimeter centric, which has factored into the Bulls struggling. But I almost think DeRozan and Levine are kind of redundant, and because of that, I think they need to move one of them and get a new, I guess, second fiddle to whoever they choose to stick with, and then I think the Bulls will be better. But there's just something about those two together. I'm not buying into it. I don't think it will ever work. So I think they need to break it up. These two, prove it. Um, Clippers are a talented team. It's just that what are we going to get from Kawhi this season? How many games is he going to play? Is he going to hold up? Paul George seems like he's kind of back to normal. But I got a lot of questions about Kawhi, and because of that, I gotta put them and prove it. If you're gonna tell me that Kawhi's gonna play 70 games, I mean he might not even be able to get that, but around 70 games, be healthy for the playoffs, then I think that this duo you'd put probably up here. But I can't guarantee that. I wouldn't put anything on that guarantee. So I'm gonna put them and prove it. But probably out of these four that I have improved it so far, they probably have the best potential to shoot up to really good. Let's see who we got. Bradley Beal and Porzingis. I think potential's there with those two. Um, Beal, I think is shooting like 52% this year. I believe Porzingis is shooting like 47% from the field. Both guys shoot above 35% from three. Very talented offensively. Some questions about them defensively for sure, but Washington's a 500 team this season, and I think fans of the Wizards can be a little optimistic that this team at least could be a playing team this season. I think there's enough talent on there for these two to lead them at least to a playing berth. I think anything lower than that would be ridiculous, especially with these two playing it the way they are. If that were to happen, then I think these two would drop here pretty quickly. But I'm willing to give them a shot this year, so I'm gonna say potential's there. Same with these two. Um, and this is probably mainly because Giddy, what is this? Is he a rookie or is this second year? I can't remember. But Alexander, been a few years with him, and he's taken his game to another level. I mean, he so far throughout this season, he's a legitimate MVP candidate. Giddy is a guy who can put up a triple double for you on occasion, and I think there's some excitement with that Oklahoma City team because they have a lot of draft capital these next few years, and the fact that these two are playing so well right now, Oklahoma could be a playing team this season. Maybe they find a way into the top six. I don't know, but I think because of these two, Oklahoma, Thunder fans can really think about potentially being a playoff team this year. Because of that, I think the potential is there for them to be, a duo for the next couple of years. That, with all of that draft capital and stuff, the Thunder could be on a little run here. Halliburton and Turner. I think it's weird that they chose Miles Turner. I probably would have gone with maybe Buddy Hield. I don't know, but actually Matherin probably would be the duo I would have gone with Halliburton. They chose Miles Turner. I'm not even sure if Miles Turner makes it through the season with the Pacers, so I'm gonna put them in breakup. Pretty simple. That's the reason why. These two, I'll put them in prove it. Was not a fan of the Gobert trade. I just don't see the fit with Gobert. Anthony Edwards, I know what I'm going to get from him. Carlton Towns has been too up and down for me this year. So because of that, I'm going to put them in prove it. I wouldn't put them break up too soon. I'd probably give them this year and maybe the start of next season, and Minnesota looks like a 500, slightly below 500 team. I would seriously think about breaking it up, but need to see more from Cat. Anthony Edwards, fine with him, but yeah, Cat needs to figure out who he wants to be. Because when Gobert's on the floor with them, he becomes too much a perimeter guy. He's struggling out there. Defensively, I mean, teams can attack him in a pick and roll because he's used to just dropping off of picks. So Gobert and he are in the pick and roll action. You pretty much get a wide open shot off of that because both of them instinctively drop deep into the lane. Um, and even then, Carlton Towns, like when he wants to, can be pretty good rim protecting, athletic, big. But then other times it just seems like I don't know, spaces out or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird with them. I was one of those who thought Minnesota's gonna be better this season, and so far it hasn't really happened. So for them, prove it. And then finally, Brown and Tatum. Based off of this year, I gotta put them up here. It's not even a homer pick. Some of you may think it is, but I got to be honest with you. Um, can you disagree with what Luka said, saying that they're the best duo in this season? Both guys can drop 30 a night. They both have made conscious efforts to be better playmakers. They both are pretty good defensively. Brown has his lapses every once in a while, but Tatum is a better defender than people sometimes want to give him credit for. Tatum is a MVP candidate. Jaylen Brown's should definitely be on the All Star team this season, and you could argue he should be on one of the All NBA teams this season, based off of the first 20 or so games. I mean, with that kind of resume, after coming off of a finals run last season, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of times already as well. Their stock seems to be going up, their production's going up, and the two of them as I guess leaders on that Celtics team, they seem to be becoming a better leader. We'll have to see, of course, because Brown's contract is up. Is it after next season? I believe. I think, and hopefully Boston, can keep them together. But right now, they kind of are the best duo in the NBA. So, yeah, that's my list. Once again, what do you guys? Oh, I forgot to say, Cleveland. I would go with probably Mitchell and Garland, Mitchell and Allen, whatever pairing you go with on Cleveland. I probably would have put them potentials there, only because it's Mitchell's first season in Cleveland. They started off really well, have gone through kind of a rough patch where they haven't sustained the kind of level that they had earlier in the season, but still very talented team. And I think Mitchell could prove to be a really good acquisition for them. So because of that, I would have put them potentials there. In terms of other teams, I can't really think of any other team that I would be missing. I mean, not every team's represented here, but I don't think there's like a glaring duo that's not on here that should be, other than the Cleveland one. Unless I'm missing somebody. Because I know some of you would probably say, well, what about Luka with Dallas? Who would you put as the second best guy on Dallas? And that's why I think Luka isn't up on here. Because would you put what, Hardaway Jr., Dinwiddie, Christian Wood? Hmm? Mm-hmm. It probably would be Christian Wood. They would be potentials there as well. But for this tier list, which I did like, um, that's how I have it shaken out. So, of course, let me know down in the comment section if you agree or not. I'll probably do some more of these tier lists because there's some interesting ones on there that I do like. And I'll probably do this type of format with you guys more often where share my screen and kind of do something like this while, you know, giving you my thought process as I fill it out. So if you do like, this type of episode, let me know that as well. But before I get out of here, check me out on Sports Empire Network, Facebook, YouTube, tikilive.com. You can check me out on there Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. on the Big Three podcast. Thursday nights, pregame pigskin, 7 o'clock as well. And may have some other appearances, but nothing really set in stone. So check me out over there. Fridays, JJL Sports Talk Show, YouTube and Facebook. That's every Friday at 8. Of course, we didn't do one this past Friday, Thanksgiving. Actually, I didn't even start the episode with that, but hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know it's a little late in the episode to say that, but you know. And yeah, so that's it. Like I said, let me know what you think about the tier list, and if you like me doing this type of thing, definitely let me know. But thanks again for tuning in. Oh, before I get out of here as well, make sure to follow me on TikTok at Chompin' Podcast. I've been starting to get into the whole TikTok game, so definitely go over there. I have done a few videos over there. We'll do some more going forward, so definitely check me out over there as well. YouTube if you subscribe to YouTube, well, not if, after you subscribe to YouTube, you can check out YouTube Shorts. I've done one so far, but plan on doing some more as well. But yeah, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, follow, uh, hit the notification bell, leave a review, leave a comment. It it's all it's all helpful to me. So do all that. But once again, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I had fun doing this. Like I said, hopefully it was fun for you as well. Be safe out there. God bless. I'll catch you next episode. All right. Have a good one.